Alright everyone, good evening and welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Racing League Cup Series tonight here at Texas. Scheduled distance going to be 100 laps here tonight. Let's say right now point standings here entering race number 9, already in the last quarter of the season here. Larry Yingling, as he has a very solid lead over a race, I should say, over Maxwell Caldwell. So say definitely Larry doing what he needs to do here to try to wrap this thing up. Maybe even possibly a race early. We'll have to wait and see on that one. However, you never know how these races will turn out. Behind him though, Maxwell Caldwell, he's in a tight fight with Chad Wilkes, only 3 between the two of them, and then only 5 further back is Brandon Pasalacqua in 4th. Then they've got a little bit of a gap over David Payton in 5th, and then you have Andrew Pleshy, Todd Merkel, Jim Brooks, James Ledford, and Robbie Richards rounding out our top 10 in points. So qualifying just about completed here. So say again, scheduled distance 100 laps. The fuel window sounds like it's going to be roughly in the below mid 40 lap range, and from what I've been hearing from the drivers. And from what I've been seeing in practice, let's say this is the newly reconfigured Texas. So you see turn 1 and 2 very, very wide. However, it funnels in quickly off of turn 2. However, 3 and 4, you pretty much hammer down all the way through there. So I think that's going to be the strategy for some of these drivers here tonight, is to just kind of, I think turns 1 and 2, that's going to be really the trouble turn for this evening. So we'll wait and we'll see how things shake out for tonight's race though. With that though, we got to pull up our starting grid. On the pole is going to be the, oh, that's the wrong button. That's the results. There we go. Pole position is going to be the 63 of Logan Helton over the 67 of Larry Yingling. In 3rd, Chad Wilkes. 4th, Brandon Pasalacqua. In 5th is Maxwell Caldwell. So say you got all the top 4 there, right in the top 5 positions here on track. 6th is going to be Jim Brooks. 7th, David Payton. 8th is Andrew Pleshy. In 9th, we've got Jack Walls. 10th, Corey Lane. Then 11th through 16th, you got Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson, Bud Steele, Robbie Richards, James Ledford, and Todd Merkel. And then 17th through 21st, you've got Kyle Hess, Dwight Plush, Nicholas Winook, John Brill, and Paul Patterson. So you see the field here lined up facing the inside pit wall here. So obviously this is the only time these cars are going to be facing this this pit wall like this. I say otherwise, if they're doing this any other time in the race, it's probably not going to be a good situation there. But as I say that though, these guys are going to get rolling off here. Again, Logan Helton and Larry Yingling are the front row tonight. Good evening, Tammy. Hope you are having a good night. I say obviously a great start for Logan here, starting from the pole position tonight. So we'll see if he's able to capitalize on that one and get that first finishing spot as well. And again, with these tracks that are a larger size, these are again going to be the higher downforce, lower horsepower package. So it's going to be a lot easier for these cars to stay pretty much grouped together. Again, though, I think turn 1 and 2, that's going to be really the deciding turn of where how your race goes. If you can get through that turn well, I think that's where you can really make some time. Again, 3 and 4, you should, for the most part, I believe, be able to pretty much stay flat-footed to the end. You just got to be careful, of course, not to get any of those right, especially the right side tires, right front, right rear. You got to make sure you don't get that tire angry. That's where trouble could fall into place here tonight. But that's why we're here. We'll have to wait and see how everything's going to come together as the pace car is about to duck off into the pits and put it into the hands of our front row. And once that green flag flies, we will get underway for 100 laps here tonight at Texas. All right, green flag is out. You see Larry's going to be able to sneak in right behind. Oh, you see a little bit of, it looked like a little bit of grass there for the 94 Maxwell Caldwell. Just caught the grass a little bit. So I don't think it's going to hurt him too much, but I'm sure it definitely caught his attention, especially getting up to speed there. However, it looks like right now everything's sorting out pretty well up front here. See pretty much the top 6. It looks like single file right around Jack Walls is where they're starting to double up. Actually, it looks like Jack's able to get snuck in there too. And now Jim Brooks, kind of the odd man out, stuck on that top side here out of turn number 4. Up front though, Larry Yingling wasting no time, going to try to make the top side work here through 1 and 2. Looks like he's going to get the momentum on the exit and grab that lead. I think Logan did lead that first lap, but this second lap right now looking like it's going to go the way of that 67. And then you got Chad Wilkes there holding on to that 3rd spot. And then a good battle right there in 4th with Brandon Pasalacqua and the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. David Payton right there in that mix as well. It seems like the inside line is definitely for the most part where you want to be, although you see Brandon's going to get a nice little run here, try to kind of do an over-under almost of that 38 car. So we saw David get by him. He's going to try to return the favor and get back by him here. And also you see the 17 of Chad Wilkes able to sneak around the 94, the 63 I should say, of Logan Helton. Here comes Maxwell Caldwell. He's going to try to follow through as well. So I think there's a little bit different aggression strategy here. Some drivers maybe trying to push a little harder early on. As saying some of these drivers might be trying to save their tires just a little bit as things get underway here. We'll see if that comes into play as this run goes on. So this is definitely a track if you can keep those tires underneath you, especially in turns 1 and 2. I think that's where you will be able to see him make some ground here tonight. But right now, the Larry Yingling's got about 0.3 of a second lead over that 17 of Chad Wilkes. However, Chad's got a mirror full now of that number 94 of Maxwell Caldwell here. So you can hear on the onboard how the RPM does not drop very much for Chad Wilkes through 3 and 4 there. And again, that's how much pace these cars have with the higher downforce, lower horsepower. They can pretty much run that thing almost wide open, probably wide open right now through the turns. But again, through 3 and 4, you can hear they have to, or 1 and 2, I'm sorry, they have to slow up just a little bit there and then get back onto the throttle. Again, as these tires wear, I think we're really going to see these cars slow up a lot more in turns 1 and 2. I think again, even though you really can get aggressive in 3 and 4 here, I think you're going to want to manage your tires a little bit here through 3 and 4 to help your cause in 1 and 2 because it has the potential of really kind of getting that right rear, especially right rear, right front, a little bit angry if you get a little too aggressive on the throttle here. I see a couple cars get close to the outside wall there off of turn number 2. Jim Brooks was one, Corey Lane was another. Looks like both were able to keep it off the wall though. So everybody's able to kind of keep holding pace here. Not a ton of position change early on in the race. Charles Johnson in the number 9 car, he is up into the 9th position, really working over Jack Walls as well. So he's +2 from his starting spot on these initial 8 laps. See if he can get himself one more spot here. And then also Bud Steele in the 6th car. He is going from 13th to 11th. He's kind of leading this right group right here behind him. So right now those are 2 of our bigger movers here early on. And then for those that started a little further back, Nicholas Winook in the 33 car, you can see him right in the middle of this battle as well. He's gone from 19th to 15th, so +4 for him. So right now, say some of the early movers of tonight's race here. It looked like David Pena working with Andrew Plush here. This is a battle for the 6th position between the 2 of them. It looks like David Payton is going to grab that spot. I think they may have actually went back and forth on that in the same lap because that last time by I showed David Payton ahead of Andrew Pleshy, and then you can see David was making the move one more time on him. So I think maybe Andrew got a little tight off the 2. That may have opened the door for David to kind of do a counterattack here through the backstretch entering turn number 3. Pretty strung out up front. You see everybody's got a couple tenths or so in between them. So everybody's running pretty well organized here actually up front. I'll say not too much drama at this point in the race. Again, I think it's pretty early. So again, I think drivers just trying to get themselves kind of oriented and everything. kind of get a feel for everything, and then really start to get that aggression picked up a little bit. However, I think Charles Johnson, as I say, I thought I saw a battle here between the 76 and the 9 car, and you can see Charles is falling off the back now of that 83 of Jack Walls. So that's starting to bring the pressure back up now for Charles with the 76 of Jim Brooks here. Jump back a little more here. Got the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. He's right in this little group as well. In front of him, you've got, as we mentioned, Nicholas Manook. Robbie Richards is right there as well. And then right behind him, the 48 of James Ledford. So I'll say you got these drivers all here right around 13, 14, 15 positions as they run right now. So you can see Todd Merkel just a little bit ahead of them in the 81 car, also in this little group here. I was saying right now we're going to try to keep an eye on lap times as well, because that's going to be kind of a telltale. As that last time by, Chad Wilkes was about 3, not quite a tenth of a second, about 700ths of a second quicker than Larry Yingling. So not a huge gain, but I say still starting to gain a little bit on him. While right behind him, the 94 Maxwell Caldwell ran an identical lap to our race leader of Larry Yingling. This time by, though, Chad does go over a tenth of a second quicker, to 635 to Larry's 766. So, say a little bit of draft never hurts as well. But say I've seen Chad; he's usually kind of one of the good long run drivers in this series. So we'll see if he's able to keep that going here as well. Say one of those as well that's usually really good in the long runs that isn't here unfortunately this evening. Ryan Kelly. Ryan was really good at the long run as well, but unfortunately hasn't been here, isn't here tonight. He's missed a couple of races, so definitely look forward to seeing him back again once things are, or once his schedule allows it to get going again here. But right now, say the last time by, actually Jack Walls in the 83, last time by, quickest car on track there, and so he's back in the 8th position. As you can see, though, he's starting to kind of catch the tail end of this lead pack draft right now. Jim Brooks, Charles Johnson, they're still continuing their fight here for that 9th spot. I'd say it's pretty much just say the lap times, of course, right now with these two pretty much right on top of each other. Not much they can do where they are on track here. So looking at the intervals around the track here, so this is definitely one of the closer battles on track. However, like I said, the Chad Wilkes definitely starting to close that gap in slowly but surely on the 67 here. So right now you can see the field's really staggered out here. Each car about maybe 3-4 tenths between each of them here. So say things have really kind of settled in up front. Say might just be, might be the draft a little bit. Maybe a little bit of an aero push might be affecting these cars as well. But right now these drivers all running very, very similar laps. Right now all in the 29.9s, a few in the 29.8s. Not too many of them though. So yeah, right now so you can see all these cars from first all the way back to the 8th position of Jack Walls, all right here in the same little pile. Jump back to Corey Lane. He's in the sandwich of Bud Steele and Todd Merkel. These are in 11th, 12th, and 13th positions. You can see Nicholas Winook there also under attack there from that 55 of Dean Wilkinson, but looks like he's going to hold him off this time around at least. Looks like he's trying to find a way to get around that car as well. So right now you can see the pressure starting to mount a little bit for Maxwell Caldwell. You can see Logan Helting starting to creep in a little bit on him here. These lap times are, all these leaders are here all within about a tenth of a second or so. So pretty much any mistake will really hurt you. So I think right now these drivers just really trying to hit their marks lap after lap right now, make no mistakes. Because right now you can see all these drivers just kind of just pretty much right on top of each other here as things run. You can see the difference of entry there for Maxwell. He definitely entered a lot shallower than the 17 of Chad Wilkes. Got it to the white line though, whereas Chad kind of took a later apex. So again, that's going to be some different strategy thoughts for some of these drivers as well, if how to run that turn. So you can see 3 and 4. There's not going to be a lot of strategy there. You want to kind of try to keep it as close to the white line as you can without obviously not quite clipping the apron. I'd say that's definitely an easy thing to have happen though. Again, I almost wonder here, I think Maxwell might be having to drive a little bit defensively, because I think if he tries that late apex entering turn 1, That could open the door for that number 63 of Logan Helton right behind him. As you can see, those top 4 just separating themselves a little bit here from that 21 of Brendan Passalacqua. So right now we've got kind of just over three distinct packs right now. So obviously you got this lead pack here from Larry Yingling back to Jack Walls, and then Jim Brooks and Charles Johnson kind of in their own little mix as well. And then, like I said, so you've got pretty much the rest of the field just about from Charles Johnson leading this group all the way back to the 48 of James Ledford. So I'll say right now, these are kind of the three distinct packs that we have right now all together. There's a few that have fallen off the back just a little bit here. Dwight Plush is one who started in 18th, currently running 19th. John Brill started 20th, currently running 20th. And 20 of Paul Patterson in 21st, where he started as well. So I'll say right now, those drivers have fallen off just a little bit here. But again, I'd say it's still a long ways to go here. We're on lap 23 so far. And again, this is going to start where the pit strategy is going to start to open up in probably about 10 laps. Because I said this is where you have to make that decision of do you split this race evenly for a 2-stop strategy, or do you run this one long and then kind of play your kind of roll the dice on when you want to make your final stop. So that's going to be kind of, again, the risk versus reward of pitting early, putting your fresher tires on right away. As right now, after about 24 laps of green flag racing, the lap times have fallen off by by about a second and a half right now. Fastest lap times are in the mid to high 28s, and right now they're down into the 30s, running about 30.1s, 30.0s. So lap time definitely has dropped off over a second, in some cases about a second and a half here. So we'll have to see if that's where that short strategy could definitely come into play here, if you want to maybe try to make a strategy call and get yourself some track position. So you can jump on board here with Logan Helton, putting a lot of pressure on that 94 Maxwell Caldwell. You see, trying to peek his nose inside and see if he can get the nose underneath, but again, Maxwell's able to hold that position right now. You can see Logan's able to hold it a little tighter off of turn number 2, keep it a little lower here, and say he just about has enough where he can get his nose underneath entering turn 3, but again, we talked about that downforce and everything, so what you saw there was Maxwell was able to get some draft off those 2 leaders in front of him, and that's able to stretch his gap just a little bit over that the 63 of Logan Helton to let Maxwell hold that spot. Right now, these top 4 are definitely putting on a really good fight up front here. You can tell, so it looks like pretty much everybody's just going for everything they're worth here, trying to hold their track position and trying to move a little bit forward as well. As you can see, Chad Wilkes, he's within 0.2 of a second now of Larry Yingling. And then as you can see, of course, the 94 and the 63 all here right together. These top 3 all within a half a second of each other, just starting to separate themselves a little bit from that number 21 of Brendan Passalacqua, who's got pretty good pressure behind him now from David Payton in that number 38 car. Out of turn number 2, Larry gets a good exit there. You can see he's able to separate himself just a little bit there from Chad Wilkes here. Again, you can see Chad's definitely taking a later apex, kind of a higher arc to get into the turns of some of these drivers around him. You can definitely notice they're entering a little more shallow. Again, that may be a defensive move that they're having to make just with the pressure that they got behind them. As I say that though, Chad's going to send it here into turn number 1. You see he closes on entry, but Larry takes a little easier on entry and gets a really good exit. So again, able to make that extend that lead here on the exit of turn number 3. Turn number 2, I should say, and as you see behind him, Logan Helton is going to finally get around that number 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. So move Logan back up into that 3rd spot as leaders are working on their first car here for some lap traffic, which is the 20 of Paul Patterson. And again, you see Paulie's going to run the top side, give the leaders the lane choice that they prefer here. So again, just again the respect that you see from these drivers week in and week out. All right, and it looks like pit stops have started for a few drivers here. The 38 is already in the pits. That is David Payton. So he's a little earlier than I would have expected. I expected to see drivers at pretty much lap 33. This is a lap or two prior to what I would have expected to see. However, though, things are, I'll say, we'll see how he cycles through and what the strategy is going to be. Also, the 6 of Bud Steele. Bud's going to hit the pits from the... He was around just outside the top 10, I believe, in that number 6 machine. So he's going to be our second leader to hit the pits. So I'll say I think that window is starting to open for the leaders as we're just going to cross here to start lap number 33, which again will put us right at the third distance mark of this race. So this is about where I would think the window is going to open for some of these drivers to try to split this race evenly here. And it looks like lap times have settled out now, so everybody's running pretty solid again, still in the 30.1s, 30.2s here up front. So it looks like after that certain point, the lap times really kind of hold steady. So that's going to be something that these drivers are going to be aware of, is knowing that depending on how much sooner they pit, they might be able to hold their tires pretty even with the leaders. As here come a few drivers, Jack Walls, Nicholas Winnock, both of them are going to pit here right about at that third of the distance mark of the race. However, I think what you're going to see here for the leaders is I think they're going to kind of play chicken with each other and see who blinks first to make a pit stop under green. I think the rest of the drivers are going to want to wait, if at all possible, until the others do and react to that one. As also now seeing the 9 of Charles Johnson, he pits from about the 7th position. Also looks like Dwight Plush is in, as well as Paul Patterson. James Ledford also has hit the pit, so a good chunk of the field's pitting. Jim Brooks in the 76, he has also just hit the pit road as well. So again, I say the window is open for a two-stop strategy to split it evenly, and say that last couple laps ago. Again, say I mentioned that pit window, I believe it is in the 40 or so lap range where they can make it on fuel. And with the lap times holding pretty steady, I think that's why you see these leaders here not jumping in right away, because they don't feel like they're going to lose too much time to some of the leaders here. And I think that's where the confidence is building. So right now, one of the first to have hit under green in this lead pack was that number 83 of Jack Wall. So Jack's going to be the one I really want to keep an eye on and see what his lap times look like compared to the leaders once he gets up on a flying lap here. Right, I can see top 3 now are starting to separate themselves just a little bit from that 94 Maxwell Caldwell. Again, I say, but with that being said, though, pit stop's not too far away, and that's definitely one way to bring the gap back closer with the field here. So we'll have to keep an eye again. Right now, top 3, Larry Yingling in first, Chad Wilkes second, Logan Helton in third position. So I know these drivers definitely putting on a pretty good fight here up front. And like I said, though, I think right now all of them are kind of fighting with each other of who's going to be the first to blink. And here goes Chad Wilkes, so he gets a run off of 4. He's going to jump underneath that number 67, of Larry Yingling. And Logan Helton is going to try to follow through here. We'll see if Larry's able to fight back on the outside and use that momentum to his advantage. However, I think Chad Wilkes is going to clear. Logan Helton just clears in front of that 67. It was tight off of turn number 2. So Larry's going to fall back to that third position here. We're just starting lap number 40 now, so say again, I believe that pit window is going to be very soon to almost close, I should say, for the leaders. You can see Logan Helton all over the rear bumper of that 17 of Chad Wilkes, trying to see if we can find a way around him, but just hasn't found the place to do so yet. But you can see the pressure definitely mounting for now the new leader here in the 17 car. Now looking in the back, you see 2 drivers peel off. That's going to be Larry Yingling and Maxwell Caldwell saw one more hit the pits with him. That's Andrew Pileshi. So they're going to pit here coming to lap number 41 as the top three looks like stay out for the moment. Again, Chad Wilkes, Logan Helton, now Brandon Pasalacqua. He's going to move himself back up into third as he's 17 kind of ducked to the inside, I think, indicating that he's going to be pitting this time by. We'll see if Logan's going to have to pit with him or if he's going to try to go one more. And it looks like Logan's going to go another lap as here comes the 17 and Chad Wilkes. He hits pit road. He's got to get it down to speed by the cone. Looks like he just gets it done there. Also, the 21 of Brandon Pasalacqua, he does hit the pits as well. So it's going to leave just a few drivers out on track here, including the 63 of Logan Health, as you can see him on the inside line there, getting passed by the fresher tires. And then a few of others that are still on track appear to be the 86, actually just the 86 of Kyle Hess. Looks like the rest of the field has hit the pit here. However, as I was going to say, I suspect we'll see Logan in this time, as I think he's right on the edge of the fuel window. Again, gets it down to speed. Looks like he hits it just before the line there, which now will cycle things over possibly to Kyle Hess in 86. However, I think Kyle may be in the same boat having to make this pit stop. But looks like, nope, yep, here he comes. So Kyle Hess also going to hit pit road here in that number 86 machine. So with this cycle just about completing here, this is going to actually shake up the running order just a little bit. It's going to move David Payton now up into the front. So he pitted about 10 laps earlier than the lead pack. So again, he's using the fresh tires here to his advantage. You'll see once everything cycles through, you'll see what kind of a gap he has over the field behind him. The question, of course, is going to be what kind of lap times, how they're going to compare once everybody cycles through. As you can see right now, looks like he's got about a 2-second lead over Jack Walls. He and Jack pitted about 3 laps apart between the two of them. And then looks like next in line, we're trying to see who's going to cycle through. I believe it's going to be the 67. Actually, looks like Maxwell Caldwell in the 94 car. It's like he's able to cycle through in front of Larry Yingling, so move Maxwell up to third after that pit stop cycle. Larry Yingling, you can see right behind him there in fourth. Chad Wilkes in that group in fifth, and it's like not too far behind. Again, pitting just another lap behind them was that the number 83. Not 83, I'm sorry, 63 of Logan Helton. So Logan's going to have just slightly fresher tires than those guys in front of him. So we'll keep an eye and see how that's going to shake out. But right now, though, our race leader is that number 38 of David Payton. As you saw pop up on the screen the last time by Logan Hilton, put down the fastest lap so far of the race, a 28.624, saying that's actually over a second, 1.3 seconds quicker than David Payton's last lap. So it's not going to take too long. You're going to see the leaders all kind of get right back into the mix here. As you can see, Jack Walls has closed that gap into just under a second now between himself and David Payton. But here come all the fresh tires right behind them of the 94 Maxwell Caldwell, Larry Yingling, Chad Wilkes, and Logan Helton. So let's say we're about to get looks like about a 4-car battle. As you can see, Maxwell gets right on the back bumper there of the 83 car, try to cut underneath, couldn't do it. So now he's going to move to the top side and see if he can use those fresh tires to get by. As just behind them as well, close battle between the 17 and the 63 there. So you can see Logan trying to cut underneath the 17 and Chad Wilkes. We'll see if he gets enough momentum to stay underneath. As you can see, Maxwell, Larry were able to get around the 83 of Jack Walls. But now what you see here, these drivers get kind of pinned behind that 83 of Jack Walls. We'll see if Logan can get underneath. Almost makes contact with him, has to roll out of it. That's going to give the advantage back to the 17 of Chad Wilkes there through the tri-oval. And while we're watching that, as you can see, Maxwell Caldwell, he's going to take over the point here in the race as he's able to get around that 38 of David Payton. And again, this is the difference of those 10 laps or so tires between the leaders that are now up front here, the 94 and the 67. As let's say you see 17, he's following on through. Say again, I didn't suspect we'd see Logan too far behind as well. So we got the top 4 that were up front here leading the pit stops. They're back here now up front again. Now David Payton, he's going to fall back to 5th. Jack Walls back to 6th. However, another driver making their move up towards the front with those fresher tires is that number 82 of Andrew Pileshi. right, so we'll jump back up front. So right now Larry's in the second spot, so he doesn't have the clean air like he had a little earlier on. So right now he's gonna see. I don't know what his plan's gonna be. If he's gonna just kind of ride a little bit and wait to make a move, maybe see if he can try to force Maxwell into a mistake, or if he's just gonna try to push to get that clean air back onto the nose of that 67 car. But right now he's definitely gonna have his work cut out for him. As also you can see right behind them that 17 and the 63 working and closing that gap right back up as well. So let's say again, right now these top three are all within about 2 lap difference of tires. Maxwell, Larry, they pitted earliest of the group. Chad Wilkes pitted 1 lap later, and then Logan Helton pitted 1 lap after Chad. So Logan's got 2 lap fresher tires than the 17, or sorry, than the 94 and the 67. However, he's only got 1 lap fresher than the 17 cars. As I said, as you can see, Logan's going to get around Chad Wilkes there for that 3rd position, and now set his sights right away on the number 67 Larry Yingling, as he kind of does an over-under there. Going to cut the grass just a little bit there in the trial, but he's going to send it into turn number 3 on the inside. We'll see who's able to kind of get the momentum on the exit. Right now, you can see Logan's got a little bit of a nose ahead, but Larry's going to have that momentum down the backstretch and the draft as well. But I think Logan's going to have just enough to get this pass done here, and now he's going to set his sights on our race leader of Maxwell Caldwell. You can see Logan try to make the same move on Maxwell. Maxwell's ready for it though, so he's going to have to try something different to get around that race leader here. However, it looks like the grip might be enough there for Logan. He's going to duck underneath, I should say, of Maxwell and come down on the backstretch. He's going to have just enough here to clear him entering turn number 3. As I said, didn't think we'd see these other drivers waste too much time behind as well. Say Larry saw that opening. He's going to try to take it here as well through the tri-oval, as Logan Helton's going to take the lead back over here with 47 laps to go, as we just crossed the halfway point a few laps ago. So right now these top 4 again running all right together here, doing a great job here, putting on a really good battle as well. As you see right now, Chad Wilkes stuck right in the middle between that 67 and the 94, really tight battling between all of them. So just a little bit behind us, only a couple seconds back, is that 82 of Andrew Pleshy. Andrew doesn't have the benefit of the draft in front of him, so he's not quite able to put some of the lap times down that those in front of him are able to. However, he's moved up into that top 5, getting around the 21 of Brandon Pasalacqua. As you can see, actually Chad Wilkes able to get around the 67 of Larry Yingling here. So I wonder if that lap or 2 difference in tires, they may actually be making enough of a difference here, because you can see Logan's able to sneak away just a little bit here. And also Chad's looks like he's got just that little bit more pace than Larry as things run right now. So we'll jump around a little bit here. So we'll go back to the drivers that short pitted there a little earlier. So David Payton, he cycled through to 7th. You can see Jack Walls right behind him, still in the 8th position. And again, their lap times, they've kind of, again, they've done what we talked about. They've kind of cycled through, so they're now into that 30-second bracket, about 30.1, 30.0. So say even though they pitted early, those lap times are starting to even out with the drivers behind them. So it allowed David to get some laps led in that 38 car, give him a bonus point there as well. So that's kind of some of the strategies you have to make here to have some chances at these races, because again, you don't know how things will fall caution wise and so forth. So but right now, say David Payton in 7th, Jack Walls in 8th. And it looks like Jim Brooks in the 76 was able to get around the 9 of Charles Johnson. You see Charles just there right behind him as their battle continues for that top 10 position between the 2 of them. And a little further back, one of the drivers that pitted a little later is going to have some fresher tires and a little more pace than those 2 in front of him, is that number 81 of Todd Merkel. So Todd's working on trying to work his way up into the top 10. Right now showing 11th with a 16th starting position, so good movement forward for the 81 here. As I said, though, tight off of turn number 2, however, is able to keep it off the wall. Behind him is the number 12 of Robbie Richards, started 14th and is currently running in 12th. And then behind Robbie is that 33 we mentioned a little earlier of Nicholas Winook from 19th to 13th, so +6 so far for Nicholas here. Say Nicholas also one of those that pitted a little earlier, so say his tires are definitely not going to be quite as fresh as those around him. However, does have a slight advantage over Bud Steele by a few laps on tires, who's right there behind him. Bud in the 14th position, and he's battling with that 86 of Kyle Hess in the 15th spot. We'll go back to our leaders because I was going to mention last car in the lead lap for that moment was James Ledford in 16th. However, he just gets put a lap down by that 63 of Logan Helton. And you can see Logan definitely starting to build a bit of a gap here. He's got about 0.7 of a second over Chad Wilkes there. And then let's say Chad's got another about 0.7 of a second over Maxwell Caldwell and Larry Yingling. And surprisingly, it seems like Larry's falling off a little more than I thought he would here. Car looks clean. I don't see any damage to it. But it just doesn't look like Larry has quite the pace that he had earlier. So may have got the tires a little bit upset. Might be just trying to back off a little bit to then regroup and make another charge here at the end. But right now it looks like that late pit strategy, pitting further than your competitors, seems to have really worked though for Logan and Chad Wilkes though. Andrew Pleshy and Brandon Paslacqua having a pretty good battle here as well. This is for the 5th position. Let's say Brandon's been slowly but surely catching that number 82 car, saying he's got just 1 lap fresher tires, but again, that 1 lap seems to be playing a pretty big role here. So I think that's going to be something these drivers are likely going to be paying attention to. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. I apologize for the delay. My cat was pulling my headset off as he was trying to walk around where he probably wasn't supposed to be. Alright, so we'll jump around a little bit. So we'll go over some of the drivers that are unfortunately trapped a lot. We mentioned James Ledford. Dean Wilkinson is the 2nd car, one down there in the 17th position. Also in that group is going to be John Brill in 18th, and then Blake Flesh in 44 in the 19th spot. Unfortunately, it looks like Corey Lane, Paul Patterson have both retired from the event, so they will finish 20th and 21st respectively. We'll jump back up front to our race leader, Logan Helton. You can see just under a second now between himself and Chad Wilkes. So again, Logan's starting to stretch that lead. He's the only driver right now that's still running in the 29s. As I say that, this time he runs a 32nd lap. And of course, Chad Wilkes, he decides he's going to run a 29-second just to prove me wrong. So right now, like the top 2 kind of bouncing right between the 29, 30.0s. It's kind of right where that speed window is. And actually, Andrew Pleshy also runs a 29.9. So that's just, again, if we talk about these drivers, they're all right now all within about a 10th or 2 of a second with each other lap time wise. As you see the 6 of Bud Steele, he's going to hit the pit, so he's going to drop him at least 1 lap down with his pit cycle, as we now have 35 laps to go. So that pit window is definitely open here to make it to the end from here. So we'll see again. And I wonder if anybody's going to readjust their strategy here just based on the pace difference of the older tires versus the fresher tires. As again, the fresher tires, I mean, you do have some nice short runs advantage, but on the long run, it seems like staying out later is definitely the way to go, just based on what we've been seeing with our leaders here. Let's go ahead and hop on board with that number 21 of Brandon Paslacqua as he tries to chase down Andrew Pleshy. Again, this is a battle for the 5th position between these two. Brandon's got just slightly fresher tires here, just by 1 lap over the 82 car. So I'll say, well, we'll do a lap here where I stay quiet and you can just listen to the car and the driver. Definitely putting the pressure on Andrew. Andrew definitely not trying to stay unfazed by this, though. A really good battle between the two of them here as we just are crossing here for 31 to go. Starting lap number 70. As Bud Steele, though, looks like Bud's going to put down one of his fastest lap of the race at 28.931. Say Bud just pitted there for fresh tires. Jim Brooks, he's going to pit here as well, coming to just as the leader's coming around to 30 to go this time by. So we're going to keep an eye and see of those randomly. Again, these leaders, they can go another about 10 or so laps on fuel, so that's going to be the question as well. Again, just based on what I saw earlier, I suspect we're going to see these leaders just run this thing out as far as they can, because we saw the advantage it really gave to those top two. And of course, the other reasoning is just maybe seeing if maybe they catch a timely caution, as in that's going to be the thing to keep an eye on right there, was the difference in speed right now. No new tires versus old tires. So that's always a potential for where things will happen. Like you see right now with that 6 of Bud Steele, definitely has more pace than these top two in front of him. As I said, it gets loose off of turn number 4, able to hang on to it, but that's going to be another reason why these drivers may try staying out a little longer, just to hopefully avoid being caught a lap down, possibly by an untimely caution. Oh, but just kisses the wall there with the right rear off of turn number 2. However, he's going to keep the momentum, though, and able to get around those two in front of him. Again, right now, Bud's showing as 2 laps down here. Again, everybody else still has yet to make their final pit stop. Nicholas Winook in the 33, he's hit the pits as well. So right now, those are the first 3 to pit, though, are going to be Nicholas Winook, Jim Brooks, and Bud Steele, whereas the rest of the field here still staying out. And I think that's what we're going to see. And as I say that, though, here comes David Payton, one of our front runners. He's going to hit the pits, as well as the 48 of James Ledford. So that's going to move Jack Walls up a position in that number 83 car. Again, Jack was another one that pitted a little bit earlier, not quite as early as the number 38 of David Payton. But it says, so I wonder now and actually Jack's on lap number 40, so he's going to be due here any lap now. So say Jack's going to have to pit from that 7th position. Up front, things still pretty spaced out with our leaders. They're all about a 1.5 seconds or so between each other, and I think that's what I think they're just going to be kind of just eyeballing each other, and again, who's going to blink first kind of a situation. It's Kyle Hess and the 9 of Charles Johnson. They both hit the pits as well, so again, that pit stop window really starting to kick into gear here. We'll say, well, it looks like Jack Walls, he's going to go another lap in the 83 car, so he's trying to stretch this run out as well. I think he saw the difference what that tire's made for him as well. But right now, still up front, though, you see Logan Helton over about a 1.5 seconds over Chad Wilkes here. I'm going to say lap times between the two are pretty comparable, within a couple hundredths of each other. However, Logan's still running in the low 30s right now, 30.0, compared to those behind him in the 30.1s, 30.2s. So Logan's been able to really take care of those tires and have some pretty good long run pace in his car. Jack Walls just hits the pit road now from that 7th position, so he's going to give that up to make his final scheduled pit stop of the race. Sales will jump just a little bit back now to 3rd to that 94 Maxwell Caldwell. You can see again, Bud's trying to get his laps back here with the fresher tires. That's why you see him moving his way around. I'll see Charles Johnson. He's trying to pick his way forward as well here. As 21 of Brandon Pasalacqua, he's going to pit. Looks like he's going to pit a little earlier than the leaders. Again, he could have probably gone about 5 or 6 more laps, but he's chosen to do a short pit strategy on this one. So we'll see how that's going to pan out for him. Also, Todd Merkel, Robbie Richards, they both hit the pits as well. However, like I mentioned, I do not suspect we're going to see our leaders until they absolutely have to make their final pit stop. Because just based on what we saw there after that first one, it seemed like the later you pitted, the better off you were. So right now, Logan's in kind of a great position here. He's got no traffic in front of him, no pressure behind him. So he's able to just kind of focus forward, hit his marks here, and not worry about anybody around him. So and that's, I say, when you're on the track, that's usually a pretty nice place to be, where you just have nice, clean track position all around you. Say Chad Wilkes, so he's going to have some pressure with those fresher tires behind him. You can see here comes Bud Steele, here comes Charles Johnson with even fresher tires. And again, that's where the danger is these drivers on different strategies, needing to make the right moves at the right time and just trying to get through cleanly. As you can see, Charles Johnson is able to get by Chad Wilkes. Now Bud Steele is going to try to find a way through. However, at this point, Bud Steele's got about 13 laps on his tires, so his pace has definitely fallen off in that 6 machine, just again trying to work his way through traffic. And so it's going to be that really awkward position where you're just fast enough to try to get around them, but it's definitely not nearly as easy as you can see with that compared to that number 9 of Charles Johnson. However, it looks like Bud is going to complete that pass off of 2. However, with that though, you can see how much time Chad Wilkes lost there, because now that lap time, Logan Helton's over a 2.5 second lead. So just that little bit of traffic then where you kind of aren't able to run your normal track position, that really hurt that number 17 cars. Now Logan Helton though, he's starting to have to fight with some of that traffic as Charles Johnson. He's going to sneak around him, get one of his laps back in that number 9 car. I don't think we'll be too far away from seeing our final set of pit stops for our leaders. I suspect we'll see Larry and Maxwell. I think they'll be the first to pit of that group. However, they still stay out this time by. So we're already within under 20 to go here, 19 to go that last time by. As you saw, Jack Walls, he's been putting down some fast laps. He runs fastest lap of the race with a 28.55 in that number 83 car. Definitely trying to make the most use he can of his fresh tires. So we'll jump around again a little more. Again, you can see Chad Wilkes under attack from those fresh tires around him. As again, this is a hard strategy for these drivers. You know this is the right call to make, but actually, as I say that, here they come. It looks like all 3 are going to hit the pits together: the 17, the 94, and the 67, and the 82 as well. So 2nd through 5th here, all hitting the pits. So now the question is, if you're Logan Helton, do you react to this, or do you run this thing out a little further here? Because we know he can go another lap or 2 further in the leaders, but you don't want to give up too much time too early. However, Logan is going to stay out and keep going with these older tires here. So while the leaders are in the pits right now, Logan's going to have a lap on the field, and that, let's say again, this is where you have to be careful with the pit stop strategies. But right now, these guys have done a really good job here of managing the new tires versus the old tires. But I suspect we're going to see that 63 either. If not this time, I think he'll have to pit, I believe, next time by. So we're going to keep an eye on him and see where things cycle through here. And sure enough, here comes Logan Helton. He's going to make his final scheduled pit stop. Needs to make sure he gets it slowed down in time. It looked close, but I think he's going to be all right. We'll keep an eye on the pit stop. So as those exiting the pits, it looks like Chad Wilkes is going to be the first of the final 4 that pitted there to get out on track. However, he's going to cycle out behind the 21 of Brandon Passalacqua. So we'll keep an eye on Brandon, see where he cycles through as well. So Logan's pitting here with 16 to go. I'll say again, won't be any strategy here. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel for that 63 car. And then he's going to try to get a good pit exit. And it looks like he will. So we'll see how he cycles through compared to leaders. I think we're going to see a lead change though. I think Brandon Passalacqua will be able to get around that 63 car by the time he's out of the pits. We'll wait and see here. And it actually looks like it will be close. Actually, no, Logan's going to hold on to that lead. So that's a big deal there for Logan Helton if he can hang on to this lead. As he's still building speed, though, so Brandon's going to have to jump to the top. So we'll see if the momentum is able to carry the 21 to maybe get a lap led or not. But it looks like Logan's just got enough speed here. And I say now these tires are going to start taking over for that 63 car to stretch that gap over the 21 car. So right now, that's about the best of both worlds if you were Logan Helton there, or a Logan Helton fan as well, because he's able to stay out the longest, has the freshest tires, and comes out with the lead. I mean, that's exactly, I mean, if you could dream it up any better, as I don't think there is any way you could. So Logan now, he's just got to manage his stuff and just kind of manage the gap really to that 17 now, Chad Wilkes, as Chad's going to jump into that second spot over the 21 of Brandon Passalacqua. I'll say Brandon had a pretty good pit stop there. Again, he pitted early though, so that's why he's falling off a little bit. But actually looking at the pit times as well, so Logan's he's gonna owe his team, his pit crew there a little bit, because I look at the pit crew times, and for the most part, everybody was in the mid to low 14-second range. However, Logan was able to get a 13.3 second pit stop, so gained a second just on that alone. And I think that was enough to keep him ahead of the 21 of Brandon Passalacqua, and also possibly the 17 of Chad Wilkes, so he didn't have to fight that little bit extra to try to hold on to that lead there. So Say really good pit stop for that 63 car to help his cause there. Alright, so with the pit stop cycled through here, so obviously as you can see, Logan Helton still our race leader over Chad Wilkes by just under a second. In third for the moment is the 21 Brandon Passalacqua. Again, he's got about 8 or so lap older tires than those around him, 6 to 8 laps. So I'll say I have a feeling we're going to see the 67 Larry Yingling slowly but surely kind of creep up to the back of that 21 car. That'll be a battle for the third position. Maxwell Caldwell, he's now in the 5th position. And then behind them, again, we mentioned the drivers pitting a little earlier. Jack Walls in the 83 car. Actually, as I say that though, he is under attack there from David Payton. So I think we're going to move Dave. Actually, I think I jumped over Andrew. I'm sorry, Andrew. We got to talk about Andrew Pelescia. Somehow I skipped him. Andrew kind of off on his lonesome right now in that 6th position. There we go. Then we can jump back to David Payton there in the 38 car in 7th over Jack Walls in 8th. However, now that I'm looking at it, Jack has got fresher tires, so I think Jack might be trying to chase down this number 38 car for that 7th position. And behind them, a little bit back, is the 76 of Jim Brooks, who is in 9th. And Todd Merkel, we mentioned Todd running that longer strategy. He's made his way up into that top 10. And as I mentioned in the top 10, we have 10 laps to go already here at Texas. I see the field here is putting on a pretty blistering pace right now. You see the gap over 1 and 2 is now over a second between that 63 and the 17. So like I mentioned right now, I think that 63 car Logan Helton just needs to keep it clean here. And just try to manage his way through traffic, and he's going to be looking pretty good to see if he can make this way to the end. So we'll jump back a little further. So behind Todd Merkel is the 12th of Robbie Richards. Robbie is in 11th. Charles Johnson lost a few spots here. Let's see, he's fallen back to the 12th position. He was right around the top 10 with Jim Brooks a little earlier, so dropped a few during that pit stop cycle. You got Kyle Hess there in 13th. Right now, Kyle showing as the last car on the lead lap, as you saw Nicholas Munoz just get lapped there in that 33 car. So here comes Logan Helton again with those fresher tires. Logan's got about 10 lap fresher tires than that number 86 car, and that's the difference you see right there on track. And I say, I'm looking at the track map here in front of us, so we'll actually hop on board that number 63 Logan Helton. So you look in front of them and you see some pretty nice clear sailing for over a full straightaways length until he's going to get to Charles Johnson. Probably about a 5-second gap between the two of them. So again, if you're that race leader, this is what you want to see. Nice clean air in front of you, not having to worry about anybody around you here. So everything going very well for that 63 of Logan Helton. Need to mention the number 21, Brandon Passalacqua. He has lost a few spots with that short pit strategy. Larry Yingling, Maxwell Caldwell, they have both gotten around him now. He's under attack from Andrew Pelescia. Andrew's got about 6 lap fresher tires than that 21 car, so that's going to be the next battle for position between the two of them. And I say after that, though, Brandon's got a pretty big gap to David Payton, so I think Brandon will probably be pretty comfortably in the 6th position. Should that 82 be able to get around him. As I say that, the leaders just crossed the line here as we have 5 laps to go here at Texas. You see Andrew Pelescia work the top side on 1-2, gets pretty good momentum there through 3 and 4, but just can't quite clear the 21 car. So they're going to go, side by side, almost contact between the two of them. You can see them both kind of react to how close they got to each other, but they keep off one another, and it's going to be able to move that position now over to the 82 of Andrew Pelescia into the top 5. Brandon Passalacqua falling to the 6th position. You see Chad Wilkes definitely has fallen off the back now, unfortunately, of that number 63. I think he's going to be pretty comfortable to hold off this the 67 of Larry Yingling, though. You can see the gap between the two of them. So jump back to that 94 car, Maxwell Caldwell in the 4th position. And then we mentioned Andrew Pleshy jumping up into that top 5 now in that number 82 machine over the 21 of Brandon Pasalakwa. There, just a little further back, so we have 2 to go here at the line. So you can see Jack Wall still trying to chase down that number 38 of David Payton, but it seems like David's been able to separate himself just a little bit here. However, we're going to jump back over to our race leaders. He's just about to catch some lap traffic here as he's going to come through 3 and 4 to come around here. He'll catch the white flag here. So I say now the question for Logan is, do you just kind of, you got over a 3-second gap, almost 4-second gap over Chad Wilkes. If he really wanted to, he could just cruise behind that number 9 of Charles Johnson. And just kind of almost not coast to the finish, but you kind of know what I'm talking about. There's no need for him to put any pressure on that number 9 car. However, I think those tires are just so much better that he looked like he's thinking about doing, but he's going to roll off the back of it. So coming through 3 and 4 for the final time. Logan Helton going to pick up this win tonight here at Texas, caution free as well. So hats off to the drivers. Logan Helton though going to get the win from the pole position tonight here at Texas. Able to hold off the 17 of Chad Wilkes, the 67 Larry Yingling, Maxwell Caldwell, Andrew Pleshy going to round out our top 5 tonight. Alright, so while we watched Logan do some burnouts there at the start-finish line, so give us just a moment, we'll pull in our top 3 and have a word with them, tell about the races and maybe what they feel like they could have or should have done differently. Again, though, definitely want to congratulate, honestly, congratulate all the drivers here going caution-free tonight at Texas. It's something we've kind of come to expect, honestly, with this group here. They've been putting on some really great racing lately. So we'll go ahead and we'll jump back over to our 3rd place finisher, our points leader coming into tonight of the 67 of Larry Yingling. Alright, so we're going to grab our 3rd place finisher here. Larry started from the 2nd position, comes home in 3rd. Obviously, we mentioned coming into tonight, Larry, had pretty much over a race gap in the points. But I mean, knowing you and knowing just how fast you are week in week out, I'm sure. Obviously a good points night for you, but obviously looking to try to get that win tonight. Is there anything you feel like you could have or maybe should have done differently in the race tonight that maybe would have given you that advantage over Logan there at the end?
A few things. I don't know if it'll actually make me faster than Logan. He is the fastest in here. But I know the second run, when I pitted, I entered the pit lane really slowly, and that allowed Maxwell to catch up big time. And I came out pits behind him, and I told him I'll stay right behind him just to push him. And I think all those laps staying right behind his bumper and the aero push had just destroyed my right front tire, and I just fell way back. And that last run there, I was starting to come back at least to Chad, but I don't think I couldn't done anything and catch Logan.
I'll say the only thing I noticed that maybe had differed was saying you might be able to also test this a little bit better than I can is just you guys all. I mean, it was all within 3 laps of each other where you pitted the first lap with Maxwell, and then Chad pitted the following lap, and then Logan the lap after Chad. It seemed like that's kind of how everything cycled through, where the driver that pitted last, just even that 1 lap difference in tires, it seemed like it really paid dividends. I'm not sure if it was coincidence or not, but I don't know from where you stood if maybe just the tire wear pitting that little bit later may have done enough as well.
Yeah, I believe it definitely had something to do with it. Because I know the first run I had to pit when I pit because I was out front the whole time, so I just took all the gas out, and I believe I noticed right when I passed Logan, I believe he started saving tires, and being in a draft and saving tires, to my belief, he saved a lot more fuel than us, and he was able to stay out longer. And that last run, uh, yeah, he was still definitely faster than us.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, you guys. I mean, you guys were all for most part of the race. I mean, you all were within maybe a tenth of a second of each other, just kind of trading laps back and forth. So, I mean, it was just that competitive. It seemed like between all three of you, actually all four of you, I should say, actually with Maxwell as well. Um, but just it seemed like he just had that little bit extra. Whether or not it was that extra lap he got under before the first set of pit stops, I'm not sure. But the other thing was just obviously this reconfigured Texas. Obviously 3 and 4, pretty much straightforward. Say maybe not quite foot to the floor if you're trying to keep that right rear underneath you. But I noticed turns 1 and 2 though. There's a lot of different kind of strategies of entering high and getting that big arc into the middle of the turn. Whereas there some other drivers that kind of enter a little more shallow. Was there a better feel that you had going through 1 and 2?
I was taking the widest arc I could, because I believe that helped save my right front. But I think I need to change my line entering one because it didn't help much compared to Logan and Chad.
Yeah, well, I'll see if I can steal any trade secrets from him here. If I do, I'll definitely let you know and see what you guys can do on next week. But I say again though, Larry, I mean a great run tonight. Like I said, still again a nice points lead entering the final three, I believe, races to go in the season here. So doing what you need to do. Saying I think you continue your streak of top fives and I believe every race. I'll have to double check the numbers there as well. But definitely an awesome season for you thus far. But before I let you go though, definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks shouts you'd like to give for that run tonight.
As always, my teammates Maxwell Caldwell, Andrew Plashy, and Chad Wilkes. Thank you for Brock, as always, the league for putting the stuff on, and great win once again by Logan.
All right, congrats, Larry. Great run again tonight, and look forward to having a chat here again with you soon.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so I said we're gonna switch from that 67, jump over to the 17. That teammate he just mentioned, that 17 of Chad Wilkes. So Chad started up in the second position, started in third position. Apologies, able to bring it home into second. Chad, you were one of those drivers. You pitted a lap later than Larry and Maxwell after that first stop, and I was mentioning to Larry, it seemed like that 1 lap difference on tires. I don't know if it's just coincidence or not, but it seemed like it really played a difference for who blinked first. On the first set of pit stops, it seemed like it really kind of played how the rest of the race wound out. Just with, I don't know if it was the grip or what, but just it seemed like you guys were able to get a little bit further away if you pitted later than that first stop.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that I'd have stayed out one lap more and been able to pit from in front of Logan. That'd have been my one shot. But once he pitted later and was able to stay with us in the draft, we had a couple of issues when we came out. Maxwell and Larry came out right in front of me, and I was right behind them. When Logan came out, he was a little bit further back, but we ran into a couple of issues with lap cars. And if we didn't run into those issues, we would have been able to stay out away far enough for him to have to burn his tires up, but he was able to get right back on us. And when that happened, I mean, he was just getting such runs off of 3 and 4, which everybody should be pretty much flat. I know I was the whole race, and he was getting big runs off of there. So you would think that has a lot to do with tires. But yeah, I mean, he played it the way he needed to play it. And both runs, I tried everything I could. I really burned up my stuff trying to stay with him. But with that one extra lap in him probably being fast regardless, it's just too hard to do. So, yeah, it is what it is.
So I mean, yeah, you guys put on a really awesome show tonight. I mean, you and Logan, Larry, and Maxwell. I mean, you guys were all like just nose to tail for a good chunk of that race. Where just like it seemed like if anybody had like the smallest tick up, you're gonna go from first to fourth or wherever you may have been on tracks. I mean, you guys were definitely going at it there. Did you have enough fuel to maybe try to go one more lap on the initial pit run, or was that pretty much you had to pit, otherwise you were going to run out there?
No, on the first run I had 2 laps left, so I had options, and I was first. So had I waited and pitted the next lap, or waited till the end like Logan did and pitted from in front of Logan, could have possibly changed the race. But yeah, I mean, he played it. He played it perfect, and yeah, I think both runs I had a couple more laps when I actually came in. So yeah, I just kind of felt like that was the time, and I had no clue how much a lap or 2 laps was going to make. I mean, this track is a new layout. I used to love the old Texas, and I've only raced on this new layout. I think this is my second time. I think we raced here in this league last season, maybe. So not a lot of experience. I had no idea really how it was going to work. But yeah, I mean, he played it perfect.
Yeah, so he definitely didn't make it easy for you guys to I say work any strategies on him for sure tonight. So yeah, I'd be curious to see if it maybe it was just the pit stop timing, if that played a role in it or whatever it may be. But I mean, you guys again, you guys put on an awesome show tonight, putting on a really good race. Let's say really competitive between all 4 of you. Multiple times during the race, I was commenting how all of you were within like maybe a tenth of a second each lap within each other, trying to kind of see who could kind of grab that little bit of advantage of it. But yeah, I think you're right though. Just the way you got in and out of the pits with traffic and everything like that, I think that really definitely played a big role. And I mean, also just the draft as well with this package. If you probably could have got him in just out by himself, maybe not have that drafting help situation, that could have definitely changed the outcome as well. But yeah, I mean, I'll say I'm kind of rambling on, I feel like here, Chad, but definitely want to give you the floor though. Anything shouts you'd like to give, because that was a really good run for you as well.
Yeah, so first off, thanks to the drivers. 100 laps at Texas with no cautions is awesome. I mean, that really makes racing fun. Caution fests aren't a lot of fun, and it makes it so that you have to perform, and it really makes the field, everybody kind of finishes where they deserve to finish when you run out for that long. So that was really cool. So thanks to all the drivers for playing it safe and keeping it together. And the lap cars did a good job of getting out the way, and everybody raced me fair. So thanks to that, with when you go 100 laps with no cautions, there's obviously going to be some lap cars and lap traffic, and everybody did a great job. So thanks to all the drivers, thanks to the league and all the admins for putting this on, and thanks to you for the broadcast as always, and thanks to guys we run with, Larry, Andrew, and Maxwell. It was a lot of fun. Congrats to Logan, and yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, you're spot on with that. So you guys did an awesome job, and I saw exactly what you're talking about with the respect being given by the lap cars. I say obviously that's when there's the potential of those troubles when there's fresh tires, old tires. But yeah, everybody did a really good job tonight. So again, congrats, Chad, on that second place finish, and look forward to seeing you, I should say, finish out that season strong. So you got a really good fight between yourself and Maxwell and Brandon, I believe, for that second, third, and fourth position in points. So it's gonna be fun to see you guys fight it out there to the end.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, that is our second place finisher, that number 17. So we got to jump now back over to our race winner in that 63 of Logan Helton. So we'll go back and we'll get some burnout camera action time as well while we pull the interview in. So Logan's able to start from the pole, finish in the first position. Obviously didn't lead every lap there, so you're kind of in the traffic and fighting with Chad and Larry and Maxwell at the beginning part of that run. But so after that first pit stop, once you got the lead, you kind of checked out. And honestly, I've got my own suspicions on what may have helped the difference there. But I mean, again, I'm only from where I'm sitting. I'm just kind of watching this. So, but I mean, take us through your race. First off, what your strategy was going through that first run, and then yeah, just kind of how the rest of it went from there.
Well, whenever I got the pole, all I really wanted to do was to try and save the tires a little bit, because I did a little run in practice and saw how much the right front burned off if you pushed it too hard early. But that was pretty much my main goal. I went from first to fourth, and I just wanted to sit there for a little bit. And then about 20 laps in, I wanted to get back up to the front. And about the time pit stop started coming in for the first run, I got there, and I knew what I wanted to do was run the entire run out, because I'd have the better tires towards the end of a run than everyone else. And pretty much everything just worked out for me. If cautions came out, the strategy wouldn't have worked as well, and it would have been a little more chaotic. But Yeah, that was a pretty fun race, and I'm glad it went green.
Yeah, I was saying that's kind of what I was noticing too. Is you were the last of those of that lead pack, the front four there to pit there under the first stop, and it's kind of it seemed like that's how it went. I was talking to Chad and Larry where Larry and Maxwell they pitted first. A lap later, Chad came in the lap after Chad. Then you hopped in there, and then that's kind of how you guys sorted out in reverse. Where then you were able to get back to the lead with the fresh tires. Chad moved up to second, and then Larry and Maxwell fell back that little bit in third and fourth, and then from there it seemed like that was kind of from there you were able to kind of set sail and kind of go on your way from there. But I don't know if it's obviously all the tire, the strategy, and all that. I mean, obviously you've got plenty of pace behind the wheel as well there, so don't want to sell yourself short by any means as well. But yeah, saying and the other thing I noticed too is your final pit stop. I'll say you're gonna have to owe your crew a beer or something because that pit stop, I think you were in the 13s where the rest of the field had pretty much a 14-second stop. So that I think got you out to able to actually get out in front of those that short pitted as well to really help your cause there on that final run.
Oh yeah, that was definitely the thing that kind of sealed it up if the caution didn't come out towards the end, and thankfully it didn't. My pretty much my only goal was to get the perfect pit entry and pit exit I could because I knew it was up to the pit crew to get that done. But once I got out, I saw that I had about a 10-second gap to the cars behind me, and it's pretty close because you got to gain all that speed up coming out the pits, and you can't go full throttle on the pit exit because it's just so flat down there. But I knew all I had to do was just get a good exit, and it would be close because I built enough of a gap whenever I pitted, or before Chad pitted, for his new tires gaining while I was still out there would kind of even out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I say we saw you. It looked like initially that you were going to be in kind of in clear sailing once you got out of the pits. Let's say then Brandon Paslacqua, he pitted maybe about 10, I want to say maybe 8 to 10 laps earlier than you guys. So he just about had enough to get around you, but he was kind of pinned to the outside with you. Obviously coming out of the pits, you're pretty much committed to the inside line there. And so once you're able to clear him, I say you could tell you're pretty much going to be able to set sail from there. And I say that's exactly what you're able to do. So. Yeah, congrats again, Logan. Say it was a great win tonight. Say the strategy definitely worked out perfectly. A lot of pace as well behind the wheel. So yeah, just definitely enjoyed this one. But definitely want to give you the floor though. For any thanks shouts you'd like to give for pulling off the win this evening.
Thank you. I'd like to thank my friends and family that watched the race, LKH Racing, RGC Media, Checkers and Records podcast. Thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast at Green White Checker TV and everyone at Area 51 that put this on. And thanks to everybody in the race that was just ran a good, clean race and kept it green the whole way.
Yeah, and it was a great job by all the drivers. Like a lot of different pit strategies and everything like that. But once all the smoke was clear, to say everybody brought it home caution free tonight. So yeah, great job tonight though, bringing home that win, Logan. So enjoy this one, and hopefully we'll be able to catch you again here soon.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that is our race winner, the number 63 of Logan Helton, winning from the pole. Say obviously a little bit easier said than done on that one. Had to work his way back through the field to get it done there, but let's go ahead and pull up our final results of the race. The 63 of Logan Helton getting the win by just over 4 seconds over Chad Wilkes. Larry Yingling brings it home in third. Fourth is Maxwell Caldwell. Fifth, Andrew Pleshy. So great job by that team. They're finishing second through fifth. So a great team effort for them. Brandon Paslacqua tried that short pit strategy. Worked within reason, so able to bring it home in sixth position. David Payton, also a similar situation for him, as well as Jack Walls. They bring home seventh and eighth. Jim Brooks finishes in the ninth position. And Todd Merkel brings it home in the top 10, starting in the 16th position. So great job by him to move forward and grab that top 10 result. 11th through 20th here, you've got Robbie Richards in 11th, Charles Johnson in 12th, Kyle Hess, Nicholas Winook, Bud Steele, James Ledford, Dean Wilkinson, John Brill, Dwight Plush, and Corey Lane ran out our top 20. So you never want to be on the page by yourself, unfortunately. I'll say, however, in 21st position is that number 20 of Paul Patterson, retiring from the race early this evening in that 21st position. However, when the smoke settled, say race winner tonight is that 63 of Logan Helton. Again, getting the job done, say using some pit strategy, as well as just great pit stops, great pit entry exits, and able to get the win tonight here at Texas. So congrats to him, and of course to the top three and just a great job by the entire field tonight, going caution free tonight here at Texas. So hope you guys all enjoyed it. Looking forward to coming back again on Sunday for the Super Speedway Cup Series. So until then, as always, happy Friday Eve. And please, if you can, try to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands. And until Sunday, have a good night.